Hello, friends. This is Mr. Hank, and today I am here to speak about Tom Petty. Back in 1978, I was into the great wide open. I was free falling. And that's when I discovered Tom Petty. His music filled that void inside. Tom Petty, he was a transitional musician for me. Before him, I used to listen to stuff like, Tony, Orlando, and Don. And then Tom Petty came around, and that's when it all changed. Opened the door to stuff like The Cars and Led Zeppelin, even though they had been around for a while. But yes, Tom Petty opened the door to Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix and The Doors, even Gary Newman, and a whole host of other bands. Definitely, the man was a transitional artist for me. There was something about his music. I mean, even though the lyrics were deep, and they said something, it was a whole lot more than just knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me, or build me up buttercup, or anything like that. He was talking about refugees, and he was talking about pain and hunger and love and hate. He was talking about subjects that I didn't hear in those 70s pop songs. There was more depth, and the songs really dug into my heart and soul. Although there was more depth to the songs and the lyrics, they didn't make me feel dark and angry, but more so they made me feel good inside. It was a release of sorts. It wasn't like punk rock where you felt the anger. This was more about releasing and feeling good. And that's what Tom Petty did for me back in those days, and still does for me. I felt good, but it was a thinking person's good. It made me think about the world and a lot of the stuff going on. And it made me want to do better. It made me want to get in touch with who I am and with who you are. It made me, there was one song, maybe it was A Face in the Crowd. Was it that one? Made me think about all of us, the world, the people, our differences, and how really we're all the same. That's what Tom Petty's music did for me. So I was a kid back then. I was 18 in 1978, and I used to go to this record store called Licorice Pizza, and that's where I bought my first Tom Petty record. It actually was a single. I have it here with me. Let me find it. It was this one here, Don't Do Me Like That. Of course, I had known Tom Petty before that, this song, and I had enjoyed his music, such as American Girl. What a great song that was. But this is the one that that got me to the point where I got out to the store and I bought his record. And what a great song, Don't Do Me Like That. It was the B-side, though, that really got me. The B-side called Cassadaga, or as Tom Petty pronounces it in the song, Cassadaga. That was the song. I mean, as much as I loved Don't Do Me Like That, it was Cassadaga. That's the song that I played over and over and over and over. This is the song that when I was 19 years old, I lived for this song. Summer of 1979, this was my song, without a doubt. I put the headphones on, and it just sounded so great. And it still sounds great to me. I mean, this is, to this day, if it's not my favorite Tom Petty song, it's up there with my favorites. There's another song of his that I really, really love a lot that actually came out maybe within the last 10 years. It's from this album of his called Companion Highway, which I have on CD. The song is called Saving Grace. You gotta hear that song. That is one great song. And this is later day Tom Petty. It's not 70s or 80s or even 90s Tom Petty. This is Tom Petty within the last, I'd say, 10 years or so. Can't remember the date, but I know it's in the somewhere around 2005, 6, 7, 2008, somewhere around there. Excellent. The whole album is really good, but Saving Grace, that's the song. And I really like the album cover too. I have a few collectibles, of course, like this red vinyl edition of the single Change of Heart, which has a non-LP B-side of Heartbreakers Beach Party. I love his B-sides. It started, of course, with Cassadaga, so every single little single that I bought of Tom Petty's, I always turned over and listened to that non-LP B-side. He had a thing about non-LP B-sides. No, the extra songs that didn't make it onto the album. And every single one of those non-LP B-sides were just outstanding. I mean, I loved his non-LP B-sides so much that I ended up buying a single which had quite a few songs on it that were not on any of his albums. This one here, it was called The Stories We Can Tell EP, which had a live version of Don't Do Me Like That and Century City on one of the records. And then the second record was 2 songs that were not from any of his albums. The song Stories We Can Tell and another one called Something Else. It was Stories We Can Tell that just, I mean, that was the one that caught me. And for several years after I gave up my record player, yeah, that happened back somewhere around in the late 1990s. I just finally got rid of that record player. It was, you know, I wanted to make room, and I really wasn't playing records anymore. I had went from records to cassettes and then finally to CDs, and I felt no need for the record player. Note, I have since purchased another record player turntable about 3 years ago. But anyway, I gave up that record player, and I didn't have anything to play those non-LP B-sides on anymore. So I ended up buying this playback, really good box set, which has all those songs like Cassadaga and Stories We Can Tell and several others. And then even more songs on top of that that I had never heard before. Great collection. Anyhow, what I wanted to say, and what I am saying, is that this guy here was a part of me, a part of my life, and I'll never get over his passing. He died in a similar fashion as my dad did. My dad passed away on January 10th, 2017. He went into cardiac arrest on a Sunday, and 55 hours later, which was that following Tuesday, he passed away. My dad hung on and clung on to life for 55 hours. Similar to what happened with Tom Petty, he went into cardiac arrest. Obviously, he had some sort of heart issues. And he hung on to life for almost 24 hours. And then he left us at the age of 66. So Tom Petty, I want to say thank you for many decades of great music, and music that isn't just great, I mean great guitars, great drum work. Everything was outstanding, bass, everything. The lyrics, the songwriting, the compositions, the productions, the arrangements, everything was great. But beyond the music, beyond the voices, which I love your unique voice, it was what the music did to me in here. Even today, after your passing, I listen to your music, and it's funny, I can't get sad, even though this is, I am saddened that you passed away. I can't get sad because your music just fills me with such a richness and such a good feeling inside that today, listening to your music, I am still filled with a certain joy, and I thank you for filling my life with that joy. Anyway, friends, have a great day, and do yourself a favor and play yourself some Tom Petty today. It is well worth it. I will see you soon, friends.